Hello students, good morning. So after the completion of basic concepts of chemistry, today here we are going to start another chapter, that is structure of atom. So you know that according to Dalton's theory, that atom is the smallest indivisible particle which may or may not have independent existence. And also atoms of the same element are same in all respects, that is according to their shape, size, mass, etc. And atoms of the different elements are different in all respects. So now a question arises. So if atom is the smallest particle of matter, then all matter should be same and all matter should be same. But actually, why the atoms of same element are same in all respects and atoms of different elements are different in all respects? That means that atom also consists of some other particles, some other species. So different scientists have done research for this, and the most contribution is given by J.J. Thomson, Rutherford, Bohr, like scientists. Okay. So, you know about the discovery of electron, proton, neutron, and there are so many particles are present in atom. Now, atom no longer remain indivisible. So, atom is also divisible. So, there are also 36 subatomic particles present in an atom, but among them, 3 particles are fundamental particles, that are electrons, protons, and neutrons. So atom consists of 3 fundamental particles, that is electron, proton, and neutron. In your earlier classes, you know about the discovery of electron, proton, and neutron. So, you know the discovery of electron, proton, and neutron in your earlier class. Now, let us get some information about this electron, proton, and neutrons. So first, electron. Informations about electron. So electron is generally discovered by J.J. Thomson in cathode ray experiment. So in cathode ray experiment, when different gases are taken at low pressure and high voltage is applied, then current is produced. From that, the characteristics of this cathode is studied and electron is discovered. So it is discovered by J.J. Thomson. And what is the charge carried by one electron? The charge carried by charge of one electron, that is 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. Similarly, what is the mass of one electron? Mass of one electron, that is 9.1 into 10 to the power minus 31 kg, or we can say 9.1 10 to the power minus 28 gram. Similarly, what is the charge by mass? The charge by mass, that is called specific charge. are called specific charge of electron. Specific charge of electron, charge by mass or specific charge by electron, that is equal to come to be 1.76 into 10 to the power 8 coulomb per gram. And what is the charge of 1 mole of electron? Charge of 1 mole of electron, that is equal to 96,500 coulomb, also called 1 Faraday. Similarly, what is the mass of 1 mole of electron? Mass of 1 mole of electron, it is found to be 0.55 milligram. So in this way, this is some information about electron. So an electron is the fundamental particle which carries unit negative charge and has its mass, that is 1 by 1/837 the mass of an hydrogen atom, that is equal to 9.1 into 10 to the power minus 28 gram. So an electron is the fundamental particle of an atom which carries 1 unit charge, that is 1.6 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb, and 1 unit negative charge, and it carries and its so an electron is the fundamental particle of an atom which has negligible mass, that is 1 by 1/837 the mass of hydrogen atom, and which carries negative 1 unit negative charge, that is minus 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. Okay, so this is about information about electron. Next come to some information about proton. So proton is generally discovered by E. Goldstein. It is discovered by E. Goldstein. Okay, and generally this is discovered by anode ray experiment. It is discovered by anode ray experiment. Proton discovered in anode ray experiment, and electron discovered by cathode ray experiment. Okay, and discovered by E. Goldstein. And charge of 1 electron, that is charge of 1 proton, is similar to that of 1 electron. In this way, charge of 1 proton, that is equal to 1.6 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb, and proton carries positive charge, and mass of 1 proton, mass of 1 proton, that is 1.672 10 to the power minus 24 gram, and charge by mass, a specific charge of proton, that is equal to 9.58 into 10 to the power 4 coulomb per gram, and charge of 1 mole of proton, that is similar to that of electron, that is 96,500 coulomb, or also 1 Faraday, and mass of 1 mole of proton, that is nearly equal to 1.0078 gram. Okay, so this is discovered by E. Goldstein in anode ray experiment by taking perforated cathode, and charge of 1 proton is this much, and mass of one proton 1.672 10 to the minus 24 gram, and charge by mass or specific charge of proton, this is it. And if taken the hydrogen and its value is the highest, and if we take all other gases, its value found to be different. And charge of 1 mole of proton, that is 96,500, or called 1 Faraday, and mass of 1 mole of proton 1.0078 gram. Next come to another fundamental particle, that is neutron. Another fundamental particle, that is neutron. So neutron discovered by James Chadwick, and charge of 1 neutron, that is 0, and mass of 1 neutron, that is slightly higher than that of proton, 1.3, that is 1.675 10 to the power minus 24 gram, and charge by mass of, this is equal to 0, and charge of 1 mole of neutron, this is also equal to 0, and mass of 1 mole of neutron, that is 1.008 gram. That means a neutron is the fundamental particle which carries no charge and has mass equal to mass of that of hydrogen or slightly greater than the mass of hydrogen, and it carries no charge. While proton is the fundamental particle which mass is equal to that of hydrogen, and it carries 1 unit of positive charge. Okay, so in this way these are some informations about electron, proton and neutron. Then how these fundamental particles are arranged in an atom? So for that, different scientists gave different informations for the arrangement of these fundamental particles. So first time this was attempted by J.J. Thomson, and while the structure, while this model, J.J. Thomson's model was given, at that time neutrons were not discovered. Okay, so neutron as well as protons are also not discovered, so only electrons were discovered. So in this way, he gave a model, he explained about the structure of atom, that an atom consists of, an atom generally consists of a positively charged sphere. An atom consists of a positively charged sphere. So this is totally a positively charged sphere where the electrons are embedded in it. Where the electrons are embedded in it. So an atom is totally consists of a positively charged sphere. This is a positively charged sphere, and where electrons are embedded in it, just as the resins are arranged in pudding. Okay, so this is J.J. Thomson model. So according to him, an atom totally consists of a positively charged sphere, and to balance this positively charged, an electron, different number of electrons are arranged just as the resins are arranged in pudding. In this way, this model is also called palm and pudding model. Palm and pudding model, also called watermelon model. But various experimental facts do not agree with this. Various experimental facts do not agree with this model. For example, how the spectra of these atoms are formed and how it cannot also explain what is the stable, why these atoms are stable, how these atoms are stable, and it also cannot explain about this Rutherford's alpha ray scattering. So in this way, this model was rejected and another model is developed, that is Rutherford's atomic model. Next come to Rutherford's atomic model. Rutherford's atomic model. I think all you remember this picture. So when some radioactive element is taken here, Rutherford taken a gold foil of length of weight, gold foil of weight about 0.0004 cm of a gold foil, and he scattered alpha particle to it. He bombarded the alpha particle to it. The alpha particle is nothing. These are doubly charged helium ion. So you know helium has atomic number, that is 2, and it has mass number 4, and when it has also 2 electrons, if these 2 electrons are removed from this helium, it becomes He++. It has mass equal to 4 and atomic number is 2. So this doubly charged helium is scattered through this gold foil, and these are kept in a circular plate which is coated with zinc sulfide. Okay, so when these alpha particles strikes here to this zinc sulfide plate, it creates some glow. So in this way, in this experiment, what he found? In this experiment, he observed that there are maximum spaces in an atom. So maximum spaces in an atom, that is when we consider one atom, this is a suppose a circular shape. Okay, so there are maximum space, the maximum alpha particles can pass through them. Maximum number of alpha particles can pass through them. Maximum number of alpha particles in this way pass through it, and very few alpha particles, they deflected towards in different direction. Very few alpha particles, these are deflected. So maximum alpha particles pass through it and it causes this glow, and very few alpha particles, these are deflected through different angle, and a very few less number again regain its path. From this experiment, what he conclude? From this experiment, he conclude that some massive particle is present at the center, and there are maximum spaces are there. So there are maximum empty spaces are there, so that the alpha particle can pass through them, and very few, some massive particle is present at the center. Some massive particles present, which is present at the center, and so that this alpha particle when comes and strike it, it regains its path, and very few particles are deflected towards different angle. From that, he concluded that this massive particle should consist of some positive charge. So as it consists of some positive charge, so when the positively charged helium ion come towards it, they get repulsion and deflected through different angle. Okay, so in this way, we observed that maximum space is present in an atom, and very few massive part is present, very small portion is present as the massive part. In this way, he concluded that an atom consists of two parts, that is nuclear part and extranuclear part. An atom consists of two parts, that is nuclear part and extranuclear part. Okay, so an atom consists of two parts, that is nuclear part and extranuclear part. So from that he found that this atom consists of total maximum empty space are present in an atom, and the massive part is present a very small part, and he named that small portion massive part as a nucleus. That part is nucleus, and he concluded that an atom consists of two parts, that is one is nuclear part and the extranuclear part. So the total mass of an atom is consist of in this nuclear part, and in the extranuclear part generally these electrons are present. In the extranuclear part the electrons are present. Okay, so as this nucleus carries some positive charge, in this way the protons which carries this positive charge, the protons are present in the nucleus, and the electrons are not stationary in the extranuclear part. They revolve around the nucleus just as the sun revolves, just as the planets revolves around the sun. So the electrons revolve around the nucleus just as the planets move around sun. In this way, so these electrons are not stationary. So they are generally moving in a certain circular path that are called orbits. And so due to this movement around the nucleus, there is some centrifugal force, and the centrifugal force balances the attraction of nucleus towards electron. So when the nucleus is positively charged, it attracts the nucleus. So in this way the nucleus may come, the electron may come and fall to the nucleus, but actually due to this revolving of electron around the nucleus, a centrifugal force arises which balances the force of attraction. In this way electron move around a certain circular path. Okay. So these are the points. An atom consists of two parts, that is nucleus and the extranuclear part. Nucleus present at the center of the atom, and it is massive, positively charged, and also very small in size. The diameter of nucleus is about 10 to the power minus 15 meter, while that of atom is about 10 to the power minus 10 meter. Nucleus' diameter 10 to the power minus 15 meter, while that of an atom is 10 to the power minus 10 meter. The positively charge on the nucleus is due to proton, and it differs from atom to atom. So as different atom contain different number of protons, in this way the positive charge on the nucleus differ from atom to atom. And in the extranuclear part is the space around the nucleus where the electrons are present, and the number of electrons is same as that of the positive charge present on the nucleus. The number of electrons is same as that of the positive charge present on the nucleus. So the electrons are not stationary, they revolve around the nucleus in circular paths called orbits. And due to this revolution, the revolving electrons have some centrifugal force acting away from the nucleus. So due to this revolvement, there arises some centrifugal force which acting away from the nucleus, which balances the force of attraction towards the nucleus. Okay, so in this way, these are some postulates for Rutherford's atomic model. And still, this model has some drawbacks. And what are the drawbacks of this model, and how it is developed, how it is this drawback is overcome, that we'll discuss later.